loyalty was apparently not enough to save Pam Bondi's job.
We are so proud to work at the directive of Donald Trump.
Back over here, you can't get rid of me that easy. I'm still busy, so I'm looking after some things. I'm Crash Dummy, former Intel analyst, current Mario Party enthusiast. All right, baby girl, as always, we're gonna start off with some good news. Just a tip, I promise. Let's celebrate. Roll the
Tonight,
clip.
loyalty was apparently not enough to save Pam Bondi's job.
We are so proud to work at the directive of Donald Trump.
According to sources, the president vented his frustration to allies, then a heated confrontation with Bondi last week. That led to today's shakeup. He fired the attorney general, posting, "We love Pam." As he announced, she is transitioning to a much-needed and important new job in the private sector, an unspecified role where Bondi said she is thrilled to continue fighting for President Trump.
All right, but don't get too happy, because the next man up is likely going to be more malleable and supple, easier to bend to his whims. So, I hope you're ready for some headhunting, unless the Democrats decide to get up off their ass and fight back. None of this is going to help the workers. Small businesses, farmers, drivers, it's all mud in the water for us, because the noose is already around your neck. All right, so they want you to be grateful that you have a job, if you have a job. But the high cost of everything keeps you stuck to that job like a chain. In this economy, you're paying over $4 a gallon to drive to work. You do this so your job can pay the insurance, and your insurance can pay the hospital. So the hospital can pay the pharmaceutical company, and the pharmaceutical company can give you a pill to curb your hunger pains, because the grocery stores are price gouging and Big Ag is ready to send you back to the hospital. We need a Mario Party.
A new option for millions looking to try those popular weight loss drugs without having to use a needle. The FDA approving Eli Lilly's new GLP-1 pill called Foundeo, set to hit the market next week. Foundeo's selling point takes convenience one step further. Unlike Wegovy, you don't have to take Foundeo on an empty stomach and then wait 30 minutes to eat or drink.
The price of lube is about to go through the roof, because oil is trading at around $112 a barrel in the United States as of the recording of this video. And international oil prices are the highest they've been since the 2008 financial crisis, at around $141 a barrel. That's why the United States lifted sanctions on Iran in the middle of a war with Iran. They're not the only ones getting kickbacks, though, from the fumble. China might be replacing the United States as the new reserve currency for oil trading around the world. Russia also got its sanctions lifted during its most recent land grab against Ukraine. Speaking of Ukraine, you can get back to your brothers in arms and help Ukraine in its fight for survival. The link is in the description.
It's day 34 of the Iran war. We're on the ground in Dubai. Let's take you through what's been happening across the region today. In Donald Trump's first national address of the war, the US president didn't rule out escalation in the next phase of this conflict. Donald Trump told Americans he would finish the job very fast and would continue hitting Iran hard for the next 2 to 3 weeks. The president also repeated the threat they would strike Iran's energy infrastructure if a deal isn't reached.
Thanks to the progress we've made, I can say tonight that we are on track to complete all of America's military objectives shortly, very shortly. We're going to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages where they belong.
The head of the Iranian army has told his soldiers to prepare to counter any US attack, including by ground. There's a sense Donald Trump's speech has raised the odds that he may use the US Marines and paratroopers recently deployed to the Middle East.
All right, I'm going to keep it real with you. We've been using economic warfare to control the globe since at least the 1930s, and now it's coming back on us. We built these chains to control indigenous populations through the economy that we set up. Now, our chains are getting yanked, and we too soft and too greedy to let go. We kill competition for corporations before they even get a chance to get tested. For instance, we subsidize corn so we can keep a monopoly on international markets. Now, we don't have anything to feed our people except hope in dreams. All of this so that we can use our tax dollars to send immigrants to Uganda for Lord knows what. We use the American dollar to make every other country toe the line, and we don't even know why.
At least oil prices have risen off the back of it to the tune of about 6% higher. Brent crude now sits at $107.50. There's the jump you're seeing overnight off the back of that speech. And of course, it follows quite a sharp fall that we saw 48 hours earlier when expectations started to rise that we would get a clear message from that White House address that we were heading towards some kind of off-ramp. And now most of the slide that we saw from that has dissipated. This chart, by the way, shows us the price of oil since just a few days before the war started. You can see, obviously, we're meaningfully higher from under 70 to over 100 during that period of time. But you also get quite a good snapshot of these sort of expectations that things might draw to a close and how short-lived the sell-off in oil prices has been. This was in the early days of the war. We shut up, and then there was a comment, an indication that, oh, it'll only take a couple of weeks. We sold off. That was short-lived. This was the sell-off that we got off the back of a comment on Truth Social from President Trump 2 Mondays ago, nearly 2 weeks ago now, that peace talks had begun. Obviously, that was short-lived. And essentially, it's rinse and repeat. That's what we've now had in the last 48 hours. And just to highlight again, this chart goes back to the start of the war. If we just went back to the start of the year, oil prices were lower still. We're up 65% from the start of the year.
The sins of the government are not divorced from the people, but that don't make them equal in weight either. With that being said, when you know better, you must do better. So, how are you taking steps to divorce yourself from the matrix? One way you can jump off the system is by trading with your neighbors. You can do that right now if you go to freeblackmarket.com. United States of America. All right, assuming the position, more lube talk. The fees implemented on the Strait of Hormuz and the decrease in general supply in the United States are going to directly affect Americans because we are greedy. Farmers get screwed when they sell their product, and the open market takes any extra cash that they're going to make because they are also trading to international buyers. So that makes the supply chain low and the demand high due to domestic and international pressures. The global supply chain is dealing with the problem, so the center of the empire can't get the cheap product. So we boxed ourselves in. And that's why the Trump administration feels the need to steal the resources of other countries. That's that so-called Monroe Doctrine. The dragon is eating its own tail. So for any of you that stuck around to the end, here's a little funny one for you.
Also, direct action means maybe you need to be throwing some dildos. I didn't say throwing, I'm sorry, holding, playing. The dildo distribution people. Yeah, you haven't seen them? Go to closertotheedge.com. I'm going to put the link in there that shows you the whole thing that they're doing. It's amazing. But they're using these, and they've got thousands of them now because they realize that they're so effective at warding off these ICE agents at Whipple and Minneapolis. And now around the nation, they're giving these away to people. They're passing them out because that absurdity in the face of this toxic masculinity seems to be the one thing that gets these ICE agents to back off. It actually works. So I want to help them get those donations for the thousands that they've bought. Also, the thousands were donated to them as well. But for the ones that they bought, they need to get that money back, and they need to keep this going because it's working. If nothing else, just to piss off those ICE agents. Email me, politicaldrain@proton.me. politicaldrain@proton.me. You email me, say, I want to donate, and I will give you the instructions on how to do so, because the time to fight is now.
Hey, yeah, you. Before you click away to watch someone unbox a tactical toothbrush, let's talk about something real. Political Drain isn't just another content mill. We're a digital front in a very real war. Not with bullets, but with ideas, with action, and with solidarity. We pair urgent news with critical education. And we build community around actual resistance, not the hashtag kind. The kind that moves. But here's the thing. None of this is free. It isn't. Behind every video is time, labor, research, and some weird guy asking if we're gonna pay the hosting bill. And yeah, some of that money goes to things we can't necessarily say out loud. If you know, you know. Let's just say our special ops aren't Call of Duty LARPers. They're people making real moves to protect, uplift, and organize. You're not just funding a channel. You're funding a resistance network in a world where capital still calls the shots. Unfortunately, in a system built on artificial scarcity, even mutual aid has a price tag. And if we want to grow, if we want to win, we need your help. We need your help. So if you've got even a few bucks to spare, toss it our way. It's not for ads, it's not for merch drops, but for people making moves in the shadows so others can do it in the light. It's just us and you. So fund the mission, fund the fight, fund the future, because nobody's coming to save us. We save each other. That's how this works.